coming up.
I used to try different bloodlines with experimenting around and always came back to Jorgensen's. If you look at every Angus bull in the United States, it goes back to them. But the beauty of it is if you match that with the DNA, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Hear the story of a South Dakota family's success with beef cattle performance breeding, next on The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick, and welcome to The American Rancher. In the 1950s, beef cattle performance breeding was revolutionary. A pioneer in that concept was Dr. J. Lush at Iowa State University. Martin Jorgensen Jr. at Jorgensen Land and Cattle was one of the first cattlemen in America to embrace Dr. Lush's concepts, and today, the Angus herd at Jorgensen's is unmatched for performance beef cattle genetics. The Jorgensens are based in Ideal, South Dakota, where the family has created a thriving enterprise of top Angus genetics for customers around the world.
Well, it was a great life. We grew up with horses and cattle. Our first love was horses, but come to love cattle more and more. As we've always just run black and black baldy cows, and in the last 15 years, we've been developing heifers to sell. And we raise our own. The maternal bloodlines that I've reaped from the Jorgensens have really helped me, and I've always stayed maternal. I feel like a cow is 80% value, and bulls, to me, is 20%. It takes good bulls to get good cows. The female, I learned that with the horses. You know, you can run a lot of different studs or take mares to different studs, but you really got to have a good mare. I think Martin's the one that quoted to us one time that you can't put a value on anything you can't measure. And it's really stepped up with the DNA measurement now. But he was into production testing, and then Greg carried it on. And I don't think they cared what the cow looked like as long as their performance. And feed utilization's a big thing. You know, if you can, cows are out there roughing it and they still look fat, that's genetics right there. I used to try different bloodlines with different semen companies, experimenting around, and I always came back to Jorgensen's because they're moderate and they don't go to extremes. And you could find out through DNA that they're way better than you thought they were, because some of those cows grew up to be 15 years old and never missed a breed back or didn't mess up weaning a good calf. I was interested in doing some DNA testing. I heard about it through Jorgensen's, so I called Greg. There were some traits that we needed or were strong in, and Jorgensen selected bulls that were traits that I needed. Maybe a little more weaning weight. We lease bulls from Jorgensen's. It's really been pretty profitable. I don't feed him every day of the year. I've got a few bulls that I've kept of my own through their genetics. I don't feel like I can keep enough good ones of my own. I'm pretty selective. But the beauty of it is if you match that with the DNA, you know exactly what you're going to get. You can value with them out just using your eyeballs. You know, I mean, we mass breed all our heifers, all 225 on one day. That's the core of our genetics right there. And then the rent bulls. You know, they're really efficient. And I remember when Greg was hand feeding test bulls with buckets to keep track of what they were eating. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, you know. Over the past 40 or 50 years, I guess I could always count on Jorgensen's for being honest with me. Anybody can sell you a bull because they want to make money, sell you a bull. But they want you to grow. And in turn, it's made them grow. They really have a passion for the industry, I guess, is what I'm saying. And they are the forefront of the industry. I think they are the source. If you look at every Angus bull in the United States, it goes back to them. But they haven't taken fads to sell bulls, to make them bigger and shinier and win shows. They're strictly performance. And that's what I want.
After the break,
We truly know the genetics of the cow, and we truly know the genetics of the available bulls we have, and we can really narrow down to our customers and say, all right, where do you want to take this herd?
take the guesswork out of matching top Angus genetics to your herd when the American Rancher continues. Welcome back to the American Rancher. Over the course of 6 decades, the Jorgensen family from Ideal, South Dakota, developed Angus performance genetics into what has become the benchmark of the industry. Whether you need bulls, females, or both, the Jorgensens excel in matching their customers' herds with the precision of genomics.
I really feel that's where we are today. It's kind of like a dial on a radio. We're really just fine-tuning, right? But not only that, then we also have DNA to help us along the way.
So ultimately, we have just as much, and in almost every case, more information on these commercial bulls than a lot of purebred seed stock producers will have.
We believe that it's critically important to market an animal for a price or a method that keeps our clients in business, right? Leasing historically has gotten kind of a bad rap, so to speak, because a lot of the programs that have leased bulls before were just putting bulls together. Now these bulls are different because they come from a genetic backbone. They've all been DNA tested. We know a lot about these bulls, and so to offer a product through a leasing option is tremendously valuable to our customers. Let's just say leasing a bull where there's just not a lot of winter feed resources. It doesn't matter if you're in Cherry County or in Ohio, for every bull you winter, if you look at opportunity cost, you probably could be running 2 more cows. And so having the ability to lease a bull, to me, is extremely valuable and very efficient. Our leasing option is one really good option where it doesn't take a lot of cash outlay to get your genetic needs. To take that another step, even in our marketing approach, we believe that it's important for our customers to have the same kind of efficiencies. Even, if that's with genetics, that's great. Our ability to study their cow herd through our IBG system and create the efficiency of putting together a bull battery for their needs and their uses, that is a tremendous efficiency that they don't normally would have access at any other seed stock.
And so we come to our customers and say, well, why don't you genomically test your females? We can get all the same information that we would have on these bulls, and we can make decisions like a seed stock producer would make, where we know the genetics of the cow, truly know the genetics of the cow, and not just maybe who the sire and dam were. We truly know the genetics of the available bulls we have, and we can really narrow down to our customers and say, all right, where do you want to take this herd?
The genetics portion of Jorgensen Land and Cattle is the ideal beef genetics. What that encompasses is both the ideal beef evaluation, which is our custom evaluation that we have developed for our herd, and then testing commercial heifers through Zoetis's Inherit Select, and of course our ideal beef evaluation, so that we can identify the cattle that we need to move forward with, but more importantly, how we match bulls to the females for our customers. The lease customers that lease our bulls or the customers that buy our bulls out of our sale, we like to go in and we will test commercial females. What that does, it gives us a genetic component to their herd to where we can identify the strong points of those females and also the weak points. What that then gives us the opportunity to do is discuss with the customer, what do you want the calves out of these heifers to do? What do you want these females to do for you in the future? Then we identify those needs, then I can go to our bull battery and our selection process, and we can identify the bulls that are gonna best fit the needs for that customer to create those calves that they want to sell. We have 18 different traits that we focus on. With genetics and genomics, we can identify those cattle as calves in the selection process, and then do the matings for that first calf to literally take 2 to 3 generational intervals off of that heifer's process in becoming a cow.
We are then able to take that information and tailor a set of bulls for that customer that can create whatever kind of calf they desire or whatever kind of calf the market might desire. And so to me, that is a tremendous efficiency for them.
And the other thing that we like to stand behind with that genetic evaluation is we have full control of that evaluation about how and when the data gets submitted. And what that offers us the ability to do is make sure that it's right? We have complete control over the quality of the data going into that evaluation. Where you look at other breed associations, they don't have that ability for oversight, right? And so you get bad actors. Unfortunately, you do. You get bad actors that submit bad data, and what that inherently does is decreases the integrity of those predictions coming out of those evaluations. What we can stand behind is we have full faith and trust in those predictions that come out that they're as accurate as they could possibly be, because we control that data. We work with Zoetis, they do a phenomenal job. And so once again, these bulls do not carry registration number, but they are everything but registered.
The reporting that we do, we can get down on the individual animal basis. I mean, get down on the ground level in the weeds saying, okay, we've got 100 head of heifers. Here's 10 heifers that are really good. They do exactly what we want. All we have to do is mate them, AI, if we're gonna use AI, we mate them to the bull that we want. The next set of heifers, let's say there's another 25 to 30 heifers, we need to fix their weaning weight. We want to add some weaning weight, or we want to add some milk, or whatever the case may be. Then we can go in with a different AI bull and AI that set of heifers to where their calves are just as good as our top tier heifers. And then the rest of the heifers, we can fix whatever we need. But the ultimate goal is to make all the calves as even as possible, both genetically and phenotypically. We're really putting science behind the selection of these replacement heifers versus just our eye or a scale or in and out at the day of sorting when we're shipping those cattle. We would like to test the entire calf crop if we get the opportunity to. It gives us insight to what those steers are going to do, gives us a better ability to market those steers or help market those steers for our customers. And then on the heifer side, it just opens up a tremendous amount of opportunity for replacement heifer selection, the retention, but then it also gives us another opportunity to market those bred heifers that they don't need. So we're going to breed 100 head of heifers, maybe we only need to keep 50. We've got 25 extra that we can help our customers sell those calves. We offer a cattle listing program and a buyback program to where we can assist in the marketing of both those feeder calves, the bred heifers, open heifers, even pairs, cow-calf pairs, whatever the case may be. We really want to try to help our customers market their cattle and benefit the most that they can from our genetics. The purpose of genomics is to make our customers' job easier. For years, we go into a heifer replacement pen, and the first thing we do is we pull out the biggest and best heifers. They may not be the most profitable. They might not be the ones that we need to move forward with. So with genomics, given enough time, we can get the data to you prior to weaning, prior to selection, and we can sort those heifers early on to help you make the best decisions possible. The beauty of this program is, there's input from everybody throughout the system. It's not what we think is the right thing to do. It's about what's going to work for our customers. Because we send cattle across the United States, from Florida to California to North Dakota to Texas. So everybody's selection process and everybody's environment is different. So they know their cattle better than we do when it comes to environment. So we try to match environment and genetics and genomics and phenotype to that cow herd to make the best cattle possible. Genomics just gives us the leg up because it is science-based. There is no doubt about it. We're taking the emotion out of the selection process and we're putting science behind the selection to make better cattle quicker. from the test. But if you increase your weaning weight by 10 pounds at $3 a pound, you more than paid for the test. So it's an investment in your cow herd, but when you look at it long term, life of that cow is 8 to 10 years old. So let's get her through the first 2 years, make sure she has a calf on the ground, and make sure she's going to be profitable throughout her lifetime.
And so we can help pick better females, we can help pick better bulls, and what does that lead to? I think if you look at the American Angus Association today, it's something like 93 or 94% of all cattle registered through that association will have a pedigree that at some point touches ideal. Whether it was a bull owned by Martin or Greg or Cody, or it was a bull bred by one of those three. So big influence in the Angus breed. That is what supports our bull marketing program, is that well-known, solid reputation in the breed.
Up next,
The strategy behind the Motherlode project is to create cows that create bulls that make good cows.
learn how Jorgensen Angus genetics can work for you when the American Rancher continues. Stay with us. Welcome back to the American Rancher. Jorgensen Land and Cattle develops Angus bulls and females with superior performance genetics. Ranked by Beef Magazine as the #1 marketer of Angus bulls in America, they perfected a bull leasing program that's trusted by hundreds of producers. Those bulls come from the power of Jorgensen's Motherlode cow herd. The Motherlode is renowned for high-quality breeding stock, which has led the Jorgensens to be the most sought-after supplier of Angus females and bulls.
And the leasing part of our business is probably what makes us the most unique, and it's also what gives us the biggest amount of volume. This year we leased over 4,600 bulls across the country, and that's a very quickly growing product for us, and I think we're finding that happening because people are realizing how much easier life is when you don't have to own a bull. And we can offer that service where that bull's on your ranch for 90 days, 120 days, however long you want it, and then he's gone. It's very appealing to people.
Historically, leasing bulls has gotten a bad rap. I think that historic lease programs were bulls that were just put together. There was really no genetic consistency behind them. Our product is different. There is a genetic backbone behind all of the cattle, whether we sell them, lease them, and that to me is what is the most important. I like to grow these bulls with a ration that isn't too high in energy. I like to say, I like to slow cook these bulls, so to speak. We've known over the years, because we've tested so many, the higher the ration you feed these bulls at a younger age, the worse it is for them. Yes, I understand we're trying to get as much gain out of them as possible. I'd rather make sure that that bull maintains himself for a long period of time for our customers, right? This is all for the greater good of the animal. So when we get them in, we'll feed them no more than a 44 megacal ration, and we'll slow cook them through the first 200 days on test, right? Or 160, whatever it might be. Okay, well then these bulls are gonna go out on a lease for their first time. They're gonna go out in a 350-mile radius of us here in Ideal. We get along great with yearling bulls. A lot of people love having yearling bulls out. They do a great job. We get those cattle back in sometime in August, September. We have to keep them here again for almost a full another year, right? Till they go out again in the spring. So after they're done testing, the coming 2-year-old bulls, then they just kind of need to grow and live. So these are the bulls then that we put out on a cover crop or we graze. So they really don't need to be in a feedlot scenario, right? They just need to grow and exercise, and we'll bring these cattle back into the yard sometime in March and get them prepared for their delivery date sometime in May, June. So they'll go out again for their second time and breed cows. That probably is our most sought after product, is a 2-year-old bull for lease. A lot of people love 2-year-olds. All right, so when that bull goes out his second time, he'll come back into us again the same time frame, September, October, And we will get that bull then into condition for his direct sale, which is a smart bull in the southern market. Okay, all of the states around the Gulf of Mexico, Texas, all the way into Florida. And this product really works well for the guys down there because they've went through the hard part of their life. They fully have gotten their teeth, right? And they've got enough room and expansion to eat the grass that's really quite wet in most cases down there. Even if you're in a high desert country where there's not a lot of grass, the bulls that were sore-footed or whatever, we've kind of executed them out of the system. These bulls really do hold up. In fact, we continually have to find new customers because the bulls are lasting longer, which is a good thing. If you think about it, there's 3 different parties involved in the sale of the bull at the end of the day. And every time we lease an animal, it works for that person. And when we sell them in the southern market, they're priced competitively and it works for that person. So whenever you have a 2-way or 3-way sale like that, it works for everybody. That to me is good business.
Join the Jorgensen family for the 2025 Top Cut Bull Sale, Monday, April 21st at the Grand Lazy J Lodge on the farm in Ideal, South Dakota. This sale features a large set of registered Angus bulls from the herd backed by 7 generations of selection and powered by the Motherlode. Go online at jorgensenfarms.com or call the number on your screen for a catalog. And if you can't make it to Ideal, bid online at Superior Click to Bid. That's all the time we have today. We hope you enjoyed the show. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook or YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Pam Minnick for our entire American Rancher team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.